Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the only thing which is not all right yet. Maybe someone wants to fix that, Muratan, at any point in time, if you'd like, or probably no. Maybe that's exactly how it's supposed to be. In these events, in these evenings, typically nothing goes wrong. If something seems wrong, it's supposed to be that way. Got it? Like this light. It's supposed to be this way. Otherwise, we just don't see what we're typing. Very simple. Yeah, some people are still jumping in. Do not pay too much attention to them. They don't want to feel uncomfortable. We get to this thing. We again are packed with full agenda. So, immediately jumping through the typical intro slides, but it's super important that we keep reminding what's going to happen and why. I see this poster here. That's an inside joke. But we'll start with part one. And we have Janis, and actually we have a surprise. Let's keep that surprise for later. There's going to be a surprise. Then probably we'll have a food consumption event right after the talk. Probably we'll proceed with the lightning talk. We'll see how it goes. I hope that Janis and a surprise will stick to the schedule. We have a lot of things what we will talk about tonight. And then we move to Māris from EPAM. And EPAM, the same as always, Arvato, are very, very special sponsors tonight, including Workland, where you are tonight. So, moving on. So, as I said, big applause to Arvato Systems. Thank you. So, because they are our general partner, I saw at least one person from Arvato here tonight. And the person incognito says 3 people. And thank you for supporting us. Without you, I remember the times before you started being the general partner. We were basically pulling out our pockets and trying to make these events happen. Now it's much, much easier and much more fun. But then, for this event specifically, we have EPAM as our sponsor. Thank you. And also, you're going to see a talk from EPAM engineer. It's going to be awesome. So we move forward. Thank you to the Workland, as always. Thank you for hosting us, for supporting us also mentally and socially and in all the possible ways, really. And even with taking photos of me, like right now. So perfect hosts. Everyone should learn from them. Thank you once again. Thank you. Then this is us. I did not put myself there on the top. I always put myself at the bottom, and they keep changing it. Maybe that means something. Maybe it means that they want me to leave the slide. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. This is the team. You don't see every one of them here tonight. We keep swapping. People come and go, but then they return. And this is the superb team which does not get paid. Okay? So applause to them. All right, then who are them? Those who are happy to uncover where they come from. So we have one organizer from the previous slide. There's Double Helix Technologies, there's ZenIS, and there's Moon, who are those organizers. Thank you for allowing your people to participate in things. Then a little bit about our community. So why we are here. It's about socialization and networking. It's about growing the community. You're more with every time. Every event is the best one. We see that again and again. It's about knowledge sharing. It's about happier DevOps specialists. It does not mean that they are unhappy, okay? And then about better AI practitioners, and it does not mean that they are bad, okay? And then, of course, we want to make impact. More, and it's all for ourselves. I hope you came to get something out for yourself, and I hope that you will achieve this goal. I am sure of it. Then if you still can't find us, you are here, so, but still, if you can't find us, then we are on Slack. There's a big group of some 700 people slacking every day. There's LinkedIn page, there's a Facebook group. No one knows about that one. Even we forget it all the time, but it exists. And then there's Meetup. Everyone is there. That's our KPI, and then the website which says DevOps, which doesn't have AI in it, which is a pity, but then it is what it is. Maybe one day. So if you want to get on this stage, it's super easy. You get on the devops.lv, you enter your credit card details, you find a place where it says speaker fee. And then, of course, you do not pay anything. You go back, like, you know, with those freemiums. You just go back, and then you get in anyway. So it's like that. And then you apply, you fulfill the form, and you get to this stage after a very thorough content team review, which typically ends up chatting. It's chatting with me. Typically, it's enough. Some people have not passed that, by the way. So, of course, we need more sponsors, more and more sponsors. We have this general partner package, which Arvato has for the second year already. That's amazing. Then we have one event general sponsor, which means you're the most important right after the year general sponsor, the most important sponsor of the evening. And then one event sponsor where we typically limit those to 2. But I don't recall when we had 2. So we're very open for more sponsors. Then it's enough of me. We should move to the first talk of tonight, from zero to AI first. And then there's the second part of the title, which did not fit the screen, but it's most probably on the presentation. So while I'm looking for where was the presentation in all of this thing, I'm handing over this magical device. Arrow down is the next slide. I don't know. It's Chinese. Maybe that's why. I don't know. So let's... and...
A couple months back, actually in February, I messaged in startup community that I've seen something that I would love to share my experience to individuals or companies about something I experienced. And Aldis responded, maybe you would like to come and share this at DevOps. I said, I think it's too early, and it was too early. Now, 3 months later, I feel like I've gone through the cycle a few more times, and I can share with confidence and with experience what I learned. And today, as Aldis mentioned, that we have a second co-speaker, Ivar Bergs, here in the middle. He's actually been my partner, I wouldn't say in crime, but in this exploration and this journey. And I would love to share this stage with him. First part will be by me, and then Ivar will share a little bit more on the technical side, how this works in reality. But just a little bit about me. So I've been one of the early kind of pioneers in Latvian startup ecosystem. I started Mailgen in 2009. I've been in product B2B SaaS for more than 17 years. And most recently, for pretty much last couple years, I've been leading product at Arones, which is soon to be a unicorn, I believe. One of the Latvian kind of hardware, deep tech startup superstars, I think. And Arones is a 300 people kind of office people organization. We have field teams, but we have grown massively on the office staff. And in that transition, there's a lot of systems and tools that we need, not only for our clients, but for us. We're going to talk about that. When I joined 2 years back, there was no product function. And pretty much we had just one large group of R&D engineers, electric, mechanical, software engineers that were guided in different directions to build product. And last fall, was it October, when I think Ivar's joined Arone's team, actually, I experienced something that changed my perception of the world. And when Ivar's joined, he proved that a single man can replace a multi-million-dollar product within a couple weeks of building solo. He proved that, but he's a senior engineer with business acumen, with product thinking, and he can do that. And that's a unicorn, I believe, a unicorn person. So we thought, we set together, how do we drive this change transformation? And we said, let's drive a pilot. Let's do a pilot. I joined with Ivar's. I took on that driver's seat and decision-making seat. And the Chinese remote goes up, goes back, right? Yeah. And so what we did, we built a pretty significant new module of functionality within a legacy client-facing product within 1 week. I was leading development. Ivars was there co-piloting this with me. But within 1 week, I would say I built, with Ivar's help, something that a whole team estimated 3 months to build. And I was totally changed my mind about what is the reality of the future. So I've been building product for 17 plus years, and software as a product, but I always relied on teams, always relied on engineers to push it through and deliver. I had playbooks and best practices and frameworks that fit the old type of thinking and old type of working. And I had to throw everything out and rethink what a future is like. And it took us 3-4 months of perfecting the system. Well, we think we reached a pretty solid state. This is what I want to talk about. So the current model of building software in a fairly large, I would say, or decent size organizations is that you create these multifunctional teams. In startups, obviously, you don't have luxury, but in larger organizations, you would have a squad, a pod, a team, a tribe, different names for the same thing, but there's a team of product manager, designer, and engineers. Often there's a tech lead or engineering manager, and a team of 6 to 8 to 10 people working together to solve a problem, right? And if you think about a process, usually there's a product person who does problem discovery with a customer, a designer does solution design, and then there's a whole team that implements that solution. There's a lot of translation and a lot of handoffs that happen. Often there's more than 3 between product to design, design to engineering, then between engineers. And there's a lot of handoffs. But in new model, we're going to talk about the roles, but there's pretty much no handoffs. It's a startup mode within a larger organization. So imagine what happens when you have to translate and document everything that you're thinking, everything that you're reading and exploring, or you can build directly into production, which is, the acceleration is massive. I've seen it, the simple formula is 15 times, and I'm going to talk about it fairly quickly. What is interesting that, just looking at some stats, that majority of companies want AI, majority of companies are using AI, but ultimately very, very little of the companies are attributing revenue to that productivity. They can't really justify, they can't really prove, they're playing with that, the tools, but they cannot kind of connect the dots. Another interesting fact is this one, that with AI tools, with AI development, engineers become very productive. And what happens, a squeeze happens from bottom up. Engineers become very productive. The sprints that took a week take a day, and suddenly designers and product managers are squeezed for more work, more work. What ends up happening, the product and design starts doing sloppy work on the product discovery, validation, and they just throw stuff over the fence, so to say, to engineers that are very productive now. And in that kind of world, the roles start shifting. Engineers actually step up often. They want to get closer to the problem, closer to the business, closer to the customer. And so what we decided to try out something totally new. Reinvented roles, and we created 2 new roles within Aerones. We piloted these roles. So the first product builder I was the pilot kind of product builder. And then we formalized that role, and we have a job title, a product builder. So anyone can become a product builder. Let's say engineer can step forward towards the customer and become a product builder. A product builder is a person who speaks to the customer, learns about their pains and problems, ideates on the solutions, prototypes solutions, validates solutions, and actually builds and deploys the solutions. So one person can do that today in an enterprise software kind of organization. Another role that we came up with was we wondered what would happen if we allow anyone in the company to build software. And that was transformational. We created the Citizen Builder Initiative. We called 20 out of 200 people in the room, like you guys, and we said, well, we give you 1 week. You have to build. Here's VS Code, here's the coding agents, and you have to build software. It was pretty scary for those 20 people. We stepped out of the room. Someone was almost crying. Someone was scared for their job. What did help, actually our CEO stepped in and said, I want you to do this. I want you to lean forward. We want you to go through this because that's the future. You will be solving your own problems in the future. If you don't solve them, if you don't learn it today, 6 months later, you will kind of pretty much be replaced. Either you replace yourself or you expand across or someone else will replace you. So these 2 roles, they did land, and this is not an official title. The product builder is. A citizen builder is a person that can solve their own problems, either within their own workflow or within their function. And interestingly, some of the citizen builders started building within the core products. They were doing the work alongside product builders, and they were building features within the core product. And but a key to this, and one of the learnings, was that a product builder often is not an engineer. So a designer, a UX UI designer, often has exposure to the client and often writes some front-end code. So a designer is a very natural kind of fit for a product builder because he thinks holistically already and he has exposure to both sides. A product manager could step in and be a product builder who is more technically capable of using VS Code or any other coding agents or even vibe coding tools. And engineer that is a business thinker. He's been actually speaking with customer, ideating the solutions. But what we realized, the product builder, he gets stalled often if we expect one person to build everything from an idea to the production code and deploy it. So we paired up product builders with technical partners. Ivar was my technical partner. And that allowed me to move with kind of light speed. So we shared the responsibility. I made the decisions, I did the discovery, and then we developed together with Ivar. Or the product builder built with a tech partner or expert. And it's almost like a co-founder team startup within an organization. And what happens was I had to rethink what my role as a product leader is in an organization. I had to start being an architect, orchestrator, facilitator, coach, and start organizing all the different solutions that get built by citizen builders, by product builders, into 3 different tiers. Tier 1 is where core product sits. That's where product builders live, where product builders own domains, problem spaces within core product. Then citizen builders often would build in internal tools, replacing third-party vendors travel request tools or rostering tools or time planning tools. They could build within their internal systems and tools, and we would call that tier 2, or local workflow solutions for themselves as power tools. This is a way we are going, or we went, but this is a way I believe you can control this chaos and madness that happens when you allow so many people build at a large organization. And the way I worked on the math, this is the kind of the traditional setup, where there's a product manager, designer, and then a team of engineers. And let's say that's one pipe. In the same team of, let's say, 8 people, you could break it up easily into 3 micro teams that move around 3 times faster than a regular team would, because there are no translations, there are no handovers, and this unlocks 15 times the speed of value creation. What didn't go that well, citizen builders, we gave them the tools and said, go out and build. They started breaking our systems. They connected to ERP tools, they started deleting data. They were conflicting data. They they misinterpreted some data. So we had to start cleaning this up. There was a lot of work on IT system side, on data warehouse. We had to put guardrails. We had to put systems that limited their ability to actually build within our tools easily. We learned that a solo product builders actually hit the wall fairly quickly. When you build something, you can hit a bug. You can, you can build something that gets thrown back by the engineering team afterwards. So pairing up not only reduces or increases the quality and speed of the actual build, but also reduces business risk. Because if you rely on a single person to build solutions, if that person gets hit by the bus, gets sick, leaves, you lose all that knowledge. If you have a partner, that is still de-risked a little bit. And a third thing, that product builders, if working alone, they came, or even the new pair, me and Ivar, we built something together. We came to the traditional engineering team because we built on top of something existed. They almost refused to review that 11,000, 20,000 lines of code and do that kind of regular, software deployment, because they didn't trust it. And so we have to build a lot of systems. You have to actually change the way people think and what their experience is to accept this. So 5 things in order that I think that are important. So you need to think about architecture. You need to think about pairing with someone, with tech person from day one. You need to discover before tooling. So product builders and citizen builders, they can build fast, but proper discovery doesn't disappear, actually becomes more important. You need to think about accelerating that. You need to shift the whole pipeline to enable AI development. And you need a sponsorship from the top down. It cannot be forced top down, but you need to have a sponsorship at the top. I will skip this. And I will actually say thank you to you. I would love to say thanks to Ivar, who's been my partner in crime on going through this change, and invite him to join the stage.
Yeah, and I will tell a little bit more about the technical side. Like I came in the company, like it was the standard development flow, like software developed as usual. And I came in with this angle of AI, that we can develop things with AI. One of the biggest challenges was not that like AI cannot develop features or ship. The biggest problem was that our mindset needed to change, including my own. Like I am a developer, like software developer for more than 15 years, and like once the AI came into the picture, I needed to shift my mindset, how I think about the software. That I'm not the one who is like looking in the code editor and like reviewing code all the time. I needed to be more of an orchestrator of the whole thing. Okay, so yeah, so this mindset shift was very important. It took like, for many of the developers, it was like this identity crisis, including myself. Like I couldn't be a software developer anymore, the programmer. So, and this was one of my biggest challenges also, like getting this change into the company. Like talking with other people, educating how, like using AI, we can ship features much faster. And so one of the first things that I was kind of tackling in this company was the technology stack itself was very fragmented. There was many languages and everything. And one of the first things that I came to conclusion, and I convinced others that we need to simplify this all. Like we need to use one stack, one technology. AI doesn't really care if it writes the like in C or it writes in Python or JavaScript. Like, and it actually does, but from one perspective. Yeah, so one of the first things that we tackled was simplifying the technology stack. And one of the ideas, conclusions that I came to, that the Python, like I will evangelize Python now, because it's it is very good language for AI. From the perspective that is token efficient, like you need less lines and less text for getting the same job done. And also, like I also developed like some things in C, and if you can escape this compile cycle and you can like gain velocity on that side, you can just develop things much faster, and Python doesn't need recompiling all the time. So this is like nowadays I mostly develop software in Python for this reason. So another idea that I wanted to share is that instead of me being a human in the loop, like I don't know, I ask agents to do some stuff, and then I review, I click through the like features and everything. I understood that I need to close the loop. I need the agent to be able to self-validate itself. And there are many tools that we can use for this purpose. Like I found that like unit tests are a great way. Like ask it, tell it, tell agents the business logic, explain it well. If it writes a good test, it can self-validate on it. The browser automations, like if you're developing some web solutions, then just teach the agents to use browsers, and that's another way for it to do the self-validation. And another thing, like this was one of my pains, every time I shipped some kind of feature, and it was like, those are many lines of code, and like developers were never happy about it. And one of the things that annoyed from the developer side, that every merge request they asked me to some kind of like unfunctional things that that doesn't matter for the the software itself. It just matters that like this is much more easier to sustain like in long term. So like the example is that optional parameters should be at the end. Well, there is a linter for that. Like just enable all the linters that you need, and don't waste your time on these unfunctional things. Like linters will tell the agents to fix these things. Like you don't have to you don't have to do these things on your own. And this is the another idea that agents, like they don't look at the whole thing. Like they usually kind of do exploratory thing. Like they find an entry point and then they look around and try to find what I was asking about, and they try to figure out like what they should do. And in lot of times they just miss like the parts of the context that were important. And the unit tests and the linters are actually like another way to bring to attention some things that they missed. So I think like you should use these things a lot more as well. So next, what I did with other developers, like we started to think how to like do the full cycle of the development. So including like reviewing the merge requests until like it's a full feature that we can merge into the product. So yeah, like we added like that agents self-review the merge requests, like self-review the pipeline fails and everything until the feature is kind of almost done, and then I just review the comments, what were done, and merge the feature inside the product. And yeah, so this is it. And also like in this age, I think like it's very important to think about harnesses. It's like we are all using harnesses like in one way or another. Somebody else probably built it for you, but you can build your own harnesses for your companies that like kind of controls how inside you are using, like in the company, how you are using agents. We did that in Ironis as well. For example, the citizen builders, they had the special harness that kind of like simplified their process because most of them were non-developers, and we kind of protected them from all the developer things, and it worked very well. And it's not just for non-developers though. Like in a bigger picture, I believe that all companies should consider, like if you're a large company, like harness could be the single point where you align how you use agents in the company. So yeah, so this is like what I talked about. So the first thing, like first challenge was the mindset shift, like not only for myself, but people around me. And that you need to simplify the architecture that you're building on, like close the loops, try to exit yourself outside the loop when you're using agents. And I try to like complete the whole software development cycle. And the harness thing, that harnesses are something to invest, like if you are a large company, that you can kind of like, it's from the security perspective and like in general that you kind of control how your company uses these things. Yeah, thank you, that's it for me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably will need this. I don't know. It's time for questions. We definitely do have time for questions to Janis and to Ivars.
Yeah.
If you, when you are answering the question, could you please hand over the microphone so that it gets on a live stream? I think the first hand which I saw was right at the back, and then feel free to organize the question taken by yourself. I need to deal with that thing. But you may need this still. I don't know.
It's Ivar's presentation.
Many thanks for the presentation. So my question is, what are the key indicators we have for the performance of the citizen builders to measure the effectiveness and the price of the license you are applying on a monthly basis for them? Do you have something to some reporting or something to use?
So my answer, honest answer was no, would be no. And the reason was it's still very early. So this is an experiment. And so we're throwing everyone at it, as much AI, subscription as necessary. I think every citizen builder got their €100, €200 Claude and Codex subscriptions. and they just kept using those. And we did daily, weekly reviews of the work, right? So the citizen builders went through some mini training, onboarding on product software development. You know, what is the flow? What is the process that they should go through? And then we were reviewing the work they were doing and just kind of improving as we go. But we didn't yet reach that point when we should be really tracking and monitoring and quantifying the work, because there's so much energy and excitement, and we don't want to start killing it, optimizing for it. Yeah. All right, thanks. I hope I answered your question. Yeah.
Yes. So you have spoken about harnesses. I just was curious, what harnesses you used, or did you create your own harnesses?
Created our own. Yes, like it was specialized for our company.
Like what was the difference from the already available ones?
It was like aligned to only Ironis like things. It's like most of the available harnesses are just like general use things. Like it was very close to how we develop, like what's our pipeline. We skipped all the manual things that could be just automated. Like, but like that's very internal. It's not something to, yeah. For others, it won't be very useful. Well, some parts would be, yes.
I have two questions, one after the other. First one, like when you say enterprise, how big is your enterprise?
So Aerones works with wind turbine, original equipment manufacturing. Yeah, so $50 billion company. And there's like 20 of those in the world. So we work with the top 10. And so we have to comply with a lot of regulation, a lot of requirements, demands of individual customers. That's the enterprises.
So the follow-up question is, I work also in a very legacy organization, very big, the global group, and we are actually the thing that you mentioned that it needs a mindset change, and that you manage to do that in a big enterprise is like, I think that is the biggest hurdle. Like legacy enterprises work in these silos, and I am surprised that nobody got threatened when you said that you are a product builder and a citizen builder.
I think that, so let me step back. Okay, there are two parts. So Aerones is not a large organization. Only 300 kind of office people and around 500 on the field. So not, we are servicing enterprises, right? So that's one. Second, I think everyone got threatened. I mean, engineers, designers, product managers, accountants, salespeople, project managers, like everyone got threatened by the fact that he could build stuff for me or to replace me. And that was very scary. So Ivar was challenged on his identity. I was challenged on my identity. Software, like engineering background, product, business background. And I got scared about what's really my job in the future. And so everyone, I could be doing his job, becoming a little bit more technical. He could be doing my job, right? But the answer is those that lean in will survive this. Those that will relearn old ways of working and habits will win. Others will get deeper and deeper in this kind of lagger kind of mindset, and they will be displaced, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question on that. So, as you know, ChatGPT was released in 2022, and that's when everything started. So, in your opinion, when it catched up to the people, when people actually started to think about that AI is a real thing, like managers and workers?
Well, I don't think that in all companies. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I don't think that all companies have realized that the agents are the real thing. Only small portion of the total population sees the potential in it and uses it daily. There was a big shift. It was around the November or December. When I joined the Ironis, for example, on October, I could produce quite a lot of value. But the Christmas was crazy. I actually rewrote this software multiple times over the Christmas holidays. So yeah, so I think that the last December was a crazy shift. Yeah.
Okay, so in your opinion, only the last half of the year when it all started to catch up because all this technology became very good.
Yeah, it was also yeah, and true, yeah, I agree.
Hi, you mentioned that this is an experiment in your company, at one point. Why is it an experiment? Why isn't it an edict that the company shall move to operate using AI in every aspect? And the second related question is how large a part of the company is experimenting with AI, and when would you consider going outside that? So, for example, I'm thinking more of actual design of hardware design of the products that you're making, or user interface design for programs, database design, also let's say all your ETLs and stuff like that, also DevOps, also other aspects of the company. So what are you experimenting with? Just coding and
No, totally no. Yeah, it's the operations, coding, DevOps. I personally, I'm quite successful even with user interface designs, but not through visual ways. The models themselves, they are very strong with text right now. The text is their biggest strength. The visual information is not so strong still. It will become more strong, but right now, wherever there is text, it's kind of solvable problem with agents. That includes databases and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you went fast.
Yeah, if I may.
Okay, Ivar's come.
You have to get more than 6 points. It's not hard. I got confused. Maybe just to add. So when we mention experiment, I would say one of the biggest changes that has to happen within an organization is psychological change. It is harder to change for the individuals to change. So we started in October with one experiment. We delivered something in November. People are very skeptical. So we said, okay, who else volunteers? We collected a few more volunteers. Then the Christmas came, and so we got delayed into January. But the January moment was when we said to everyone, this is happening. We are rolling out these programs. We expect people to start adapting to this. There was still kind of resistance, but we supported them. We had Friday AI workshops. We did one-on-one coaching. We did, supporting individuals throughout the build cycles. And I would say 5 out of 25 citizen builders became exceptional. Those are the forward-leaning and very progressive, but some actually fell back. They got more scared because they couldn't get a lot of work done. But that was on the kind of development side. But then what we introduced was Anthropic's Claude subscription across the board for everyone. We set standard skills we installed kind of standard skills, trained people, gave everyone high quality instructions, and their quality of work immediately increased a lot. Ivar, you did good.
I think we are done with the questions. We need to move on. Yeah, thank you for the mic. But this ball goes to the best question, or whatever, how you decide. Typically, it's the best question.
Oh, okay. The responsibility. I guess I would give it I can throw it?
Maybe don't hurt anyone. Okay. Yeah, let's be careful. Let's be careful. You can try to jump, jump and lean and. Okay. Yeah. So we're throwing the ball. It's not a rock, so we're good. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then I hope you're ready. Now it's the time to proceed with the lightning talk. So Vija is getting ready. I'll find your slides. I'll try to do like this. There's a click. You stole a clicker. And I'm sorry. Don't run away. Easy. Everything's fine. The gifts. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thank you for coming. This is, you can split it if you like. There's more than one thing inside. And then if you don't share with Ivar's, then this is for Ivar specifically. He ran away, yeah?
No, he's right there.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, from us, this is our professional merch. It's all printed with logos and whatnot. This is a very special gift. Thank you for coming and the applause, of course. It was great. Thank you. All right, and then we move to, let's think, how do we move back to, as you see, I'm trying to do a lot of things in parallel. Let's see, what's this screen? What is this button doing? It's more of that type of management here. And we move to Vija, and we're not doing any intros tonight, so you will intro yourself. You're
okay.
in my eyes, you're a popular person. A lot of people probably see you for the first time, and now you're gonna be a popular person in their eyes too. So go ahead. You have 9 minutes, but I will be very hospitable. That sounds wrong.
Okay. I was relying on you to do the introductions.
I have not prepared. Yeah, I did so many things. I'm not prepared. But see, Vija Kalniņa, she has a PhD. She is in many organizations. I definitely know her as being connected with AI Master Lab. If you don't know what is AI Master Lab, then they're actually printing a pretty good newsletter like every second week in Latvian. And it has pretty deep content for everyone. And then the acronyms, which I cannot pronounce, so Research Initiative. And then she's at DevOps AI Meetup 31. Yeah. Applause.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's just dive in the topic. I wanted to start with a question for you. How many of you have actually had interactions with AI-powered customer chatbots over the last year, by the raise of hands? Like, quite many. Okay, and of you, how many have had a great experience? You were able to achieve, solve the problems that you were trying to, by the raise of hands? A little bit less. Okay, for those who didn't have a great experience with these chatbots, if I asked you to describe the experience in just one word, like what was the experience? What emotions did you have? Frustration, annoying. Yeah, so something from this, pick your words. It's quite common that when customers don't have a great experience with these chatbots, they become sometimes demotivated, depressed, they feel isolated, helpless, dehumanized. Despite the fact that I started on this sad note, AI-powered chatbots definitely are having a moment currently. More and more companies are adopting them, and there are some industries that are leading in adoption of these solutions. And definitely there is a market, and the market is also growing. And there is a good reason for that. These tools are very often marketed as something that will that is going to help to cut the costs, right? Optimize your workforce, make them work on more useful stuff, etc. And the statistics is showing that savings are there. From the perspective of customers, you see there are some surveys that report that 80% of customers have had great experience with these types of chatbots. That's a lot, I would say, right? But then there is 20% with unsatisfied clients. And 20% is also a lot, right? So let's take a closer look what exactly these negative experiences look like. Here is a complaint, a real-life complaint submitted in US by a customer who wanted to just access information about their loan, like what is the remaining amount of payments, are the payments being made, where is the tax information, and so they were faced with a company that they described as a shell company run by AI, just chatbots, circular phone routes, no way to contact support. And look at the determination, 45 attempts to try to log in the system. And in the end, after succeeding with this, they were not able to find the information on the, in the system. So this type of phenomenon is known as doom loops in customer assistance. In this specific field, they are understood as never-ending, unhelpful conversations with chatbot that are not resulting in any meaningful resolution of the situation, and also no human is intervening in the process. So you never get out of it. What is the negative consequences? If we are looking at the previous example, then I could name lost time. Remember those 45 attempts, how much time that took. Psychological distress, deductions from accounts, loss of control over information or their funds, assets. But also, it depends very much on the context. What was the problem that the customer was trying to solve? So depending on that, you might end up, the person might end up with different types of negative consequences, including frozen accounts, denial of services, penalties, increased costs. And at first, it's the customer that is facing these negative consequences, but later along the road, also the company might end up with reputational damage, financial damage, investigations, etc. So the question is, if we have a problem, how to fix it? I do believe that currently you already have ideas how to fix such systems, so what you could change. Like the training could be changed, the data that was used could be changed. Perhaps you could introduce some solutions that help to flag these doom loops sooner and get somebody involved. But let me rephrase the question. So it's not just about how to fix it, but it's about who should fix it. And I'll rephrase it again. Does it even need fixing? So taking you back to those 20%, think about, perhaps there are situations where 20% of these conversations with chatbots ending up in doom loops is still fine. It's okay. And how about those situations when even 5% of doom loops is not okay? This is not anymore a mathematical equation or question. I would say it's a strategic question. In order to answer these two questions, you actually need to think about, very often about finances, funding that you pay for these systems, right? You need to think about what you are trying to save, what you are trying to optimize. You also need to think about the quality of your services, right? And at some point about values of the company the ethics. And I think that these questions belong to the leadership. And my wish would be that it's treated as such, that when you are just developing the systems or making decisions how they are implemented in companies, these questions get asked and they get addressed. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. So, first question comes from me.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah, what do you do? What do you do? There's the morning, you get to work. What do you actually do at work?
So I would say I sit on different chairs simultaneously. So there is this AI Master Lab. It's a consulting company that is consulting business organizations and also government organizations about AI implementation. I'm not with a technical background. My background is in law. I'm a lawyer. So, so my contributions in these contexts are more about ethics, legal frameworks, and also AI governance systems, how to establish them in these organizations. That is one chair. The other chair is doing research on AI governance. I've been working on business AI ethics research at this ethics center at Harvard for more than a year and a half. And the thing that we are doing, that we are developing, is AI governance model system for business leaders to be able to evaluate situation in the company and make strategic decisions about what to tolerate and what not to tolerate when it comes to AI.
So
Yeah.
tough, which means you can have questions about chatbots. You can have questions to a lawyer right now, free consultation from a, if not professor, then a doctor for sure. And also the AI governance topics, which is a very hot topic right now in the industry. So please, questions. Yeah. You decide.
Oh, thank you. You asked the question, should you fix 20%, should you fix 5%? What is your take?
Oh, my take is that it depends on the company and it depends on the industry and the context in which you are operating, what exactly you are trying to achieve. I would say, I don't want to say anything bad about specific industries, but if you take, let's say, healthcare and access to healthcare services, then I would say in those situations ending up in doom loops is with graver consequences than, let's say, if you just need to return your purchase that you didn't like, right? So yeah.
There was one more. Yeah.
If you say that it's leadership responsibility to fix these issues, yeah, but how to reveal these issues? Receive these angry emails from customers who can't solve the problems, or how maybe to even to prevent such kind of emails?
Yeah, so I would definitely want to advocate for being proactive and not to wait for these incidents to happen, not to wait for these complaints to be submitted to you or to controlling organizations. Definitely, again, it depends on the situation. For some companies, in some contexts, it will be fine, and you can deal with time to time these complaints, right? It doesn't hurt you that much. But if you want to be proactive, you need to, at the moment when you are designing these systems and when you are implementing them in the processes in organization, you already need to ask the questions, what could go wrong, right? And there is no magic. Either ask that or look in the industry for other examples where someone else failed. There are lots of databases where you can look for examples. For example, OECD has this really amazing database where they are collecting AI incidents. I really love it. I use it all the time. Yeah, and just entering keywords, industries, you can find what went wrong for your competitors.
Ask AI to master this chatbot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. There was one.
Yeah, how you looked into like also chatbots, right?
They do use chatbots. I haven't had any interactions with them, so I will not be able to tell how successful they are.
Okay, thank you. You have last task. You need to
What
join
is
the
the
game.
last
You need to join the game.
Oh,
Come,
no.
come. It's designed for you specifically for your movement style and whatever. It adapts to you. It reads your brain. That's all allowed by this game. You type in your name.
Yeah,
We
okay,
start
that's
with
easy
that.
enough. Yeah.
If hands are shaking, that's fine. I probably would not enjoy after the talk being pushed to play a game, but that's what
Okay.
we do here. We're ready for everything.
Yeah.
And when you will start the mission, it will not give you any time to think. You
Yeah.
just use these two buttons.
Okay.
And it seems today that speakers got two
Okay.
games. One is to
Okay.
warm up. The second one is to show your best game.
Okay.
So
Okay, let's go.
you're pretty good at this. You've been practicing. Okay. Okay, wow, that's amazing. That was the first game. And now, but the sound, it gets better. You know, it's better with the sound. So let's try that. That makes it super stressful. Let's try again.
Oh my. Yeah.
Okay, well, the first game was lucky. Okay, thank you. And then thank you for comment. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having
especially
me.
printed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. And yeah, we keep the mics. I'm sorry. All right, thanks. And well, I could waste your time trying to put up the screen which says the break, but let's see what's happening. This looks very good. So let's have 15 minutes break. See you back in 15 minutes. Back in their seats. We lost a few pizza eaters. It's true that some people come for pizzas, they get the pizza and then they leave. I'm not sure what's their motivation, but some people truly do that. Actually, there was a story in Riga. Does anyone know it? There was a famous guy who was living on free events and just entering everything he could. He was a bum. He was also a little bit insane, I hear. But a few years back, at least, there was a famous guy who was always in these yellow pages, people shooting him with cameras, like, who's this guy? And he was going to every event. There was even a name for him, made name, yeah. All right, are you coming? You are coming then. Once again, thank you, EPAM, for being our sponsors for tonight. Yeah, thank you. And then EPAM also brought their best AI engineer, at least from Riga, right? At least for tonight, definitely. For tonight, the best EPAM engineer. And I'm pretty sure he's going to tell about himself on the next slide. So who am I? I just leave. Go ahead.
Oh. Well, first of all, deja vu. Because the things that we talked about the previous lectures, lightning talk, yes, we see it all. And the things we talk in here, you have seen it most likely as well. As for, am I the best? Definitely not. There are guys, giants, and I'm just sitting on their shoulders. Not even standing, just sitting on them. So, Dark Factory. Well, basically, with the agents, already mentioned, a bit more of them, a bit more chaining them together. You know, you switch off the lights, you switch off the heating, and we can go home. Because they will do everything else. The only thing that you'll need to do, especially in brownfield projects, intake. You tell them what to do.
How well will it work? Well, that will differ. And it will differ on a few things. Some of those I will mention in my slides. As for who I am, I actually don't think it matters. The field itself is new. Year 2022, yes, we can talk about AI from 60s, we can talk about neural networks, we can talk about all of those things, but the difference was twofold. The difference was first, hardware, the cloud that I conveniently mentioned over there. And second part was that Gen AI. So every time when we actually hear the words AI this and AI that, it's misleading. Because Gen AI is the difference that made all of this possible. How many years and all of that thing, it just tells that I'm old, that I have the gray hairs. Hopefully not up here, down here, but salt and pepper bird, hopefully at some point, doesn't matter. So some contents, do we care? Probably not. Then what is the dark factories that we'll be talking about? Again, that's not new as well. That has been in place in real factories since at least 2001. So that's quarter century. There have been mistakes, there have been cases where it worked, there have been cases where, for example, for IBM, where they spent a lot of money and the end result was not good. But, software projects have the same issues. Again, let's skip it. What's the difference for us? Well, if we don't care about a bus size of 1, the future may look like 1 architect, 1 client contact person, and the rest would be automated. Will it work that way? Bus size of 1 is what you talked about earlier, that when that person gets sick or leaves your company for someone else, then you lose everything. You lose the domain knowledge and so on and so on and so on. And do you want to care? Do you want to know that it's actually nothing new? Because changes like this, they have been happening in the past violently. So actually at this point, we are way ahead of that. We don't have army fighting workers. We don't have a lot of personal tragedies, or some more, or even more, or even more. And by the way, look at the years. I could find online for the last 150 years many, many more cases just like this one. For example, do you recall typewriters? I did my school documents on those. Now, most of the students do them through Gen AI. And they're graded through Gen AI as well, at least in some cases. But okay, we don't care about that part. We want to get to something more technical. So how do you work today? You have, Scrum Master, you have Product Owner, Team Lead, developers, DevOps Engineer, all of those things that you talked about today. Well, actually, for the last 8 months, I haven't seen Scrum Masters. The only case when I saw them was a JSON script titled Scrum Master that was actually dealing with the things that I'll be talking deeper in this presentation. So then again, some guy, Dan Shapiro, I actually did not check who exactly he is, but he's all over the internet, and he decided that we can market how AI sits in your organization in multiple ways. He talks about 5 levels of AI. I count 6. That's from him. So, okay, probably doesn't counting 0. Just 4 years ago, we are on 0 manual. You write everything. You had Google. They had some AI as a search engine. Now you can do the same, except you'll get those quotes at the very top. Then point 1, point 2, those are mostly likely what you are already doing. You know, when you have cloud code where you run a plan, that is actually pair programming. You know, you tell what to do, it drafts. With Cloud, as of late, you actually get to code review part, or even spec-driven. You know, AI writes, you just write what it should be doing. The last part that's missing is the dark factory. So most of you are actually one small step below full dark factory for your own work. How does it work? So in the cases like my colleague in a different company said that you just give them the tools and see what happens. Yes, expenses will go up. We are actually lucky. We got in at the point when the token cost is small. Because you have probably read the latest news within the last month or so when the Cloud says that, hey, you know, the costs are rising up. GitHub Copilot said the same thing. I think something failed. And the prices will raise. Okay, we hope that the productivity of us raises at the same time. How does it work? Well, sometimes better, sometimes worse. Depends on the company, depends on all of the different people and how well do they work together. Again, that's not part of this conversation. We could talk about hours if we want to, especially on one-on-one with a bottle of beer next to us. So, how do you get, you know, better at that? Well, first of all, you could automate something. You could do skills, you know, or, you know, Cloud has skills, Copilot had instructions, something, and so on. Again, what does it matter? The end result is the same. You write a prompt. Prompt engineers, if you recall, I'm not sure if that's a valid career case anymore. And you work with that. What you can do is you can make it uniform across the team. For example, make a skill that makes everyone write Jira tickets in the same way. If you have worked in enough projects, you'll see that after half a year, no one can actually remember what was done because the Jira tickets themselves are bad. So, great. You add a skill MD file to your repository, you deal with those things, you get some good results. By the way, you don't even need to write them anymore. You can just install them. This is a screenshot from Cloud Code that popped up one day to me, and it said, hey, you know, here are these 10 skills that you may want to add to your workflow. Great, you don't even need to do anything. I mean, one more background agent that does the work, and you know, let's get our hair all pretty enough, or you know, cut our beards. Well, not me. So you see that you need automation, but there will always be cases when you can't get sponsors. And you can't get those sponsors because they are afraid of all of those extra loud cases where something is breaking. So what can you do? Well, you automate something small, something that doesn't have real impact on the production, but it's still important. So code reviews. First part definitely can be done automatically. A year and a half ago, colleague from that time will remember there was actually this thing called Code Rabbit that made our lives easier and did catch errors that we by ourselves would not catch them because we did not have the domain knowledge. So, okay, you do some kind of automation. You know, I talk about Jira, but who cares? You have other fields, well, all you need to decide on is where exactly is the missing part that you can improve. So, okay, now this is a real-life example. I wrote these 2 sentences. Actually, I'm not entirely sure I wrote them. Maybe I asked in chat interface with part of the first sentence. I need to remove something and add something. So how it can end up with the agents or skills or whatever I just talked about. And we went back. Okay, sorry. And that's actually correct description. How I know? Because before I went through this exact task manually. I went through the code, I decided what needs to be done, and then I did it. And I sent it to the client had a PR review, they accepted it, was pushed to production, and production didn't break, thank God. Note a few things. First, the description itself did not change. So the parts that you want to do, the first initial steps that you want to do, make it so that it doesn't change what is already there. Add a custom field solution, for example, that goes and writes all of the text, add labels if you want to, add comments. By the way, for example, when we have failures, those failures in the pipeline, those are written comments. So even if something breaks, we don't need to go and dig through the whole AI infrastructure and find what was the reason. No, you just have a deterministic script that is triggered on a failure and writes there. The descriptions, that's the important part. Why? We all have heard about prompt writing and all of those things. What we forgot about in a lot of cases is that polishing and grooming context is just, if not even more important. Because the smallest problem in the context and your agent will go sideways. It will still give good-looking results, but they will not be what you want. Okay, so, you did the first few tickets. You have some kind of automation. Now you want more. Well, you can do compliance. I mean, Chekhov, that's deterministic. That's basically a way, some kind of script, some kind of something that has been around for years, just goes through your code and marks issues. You can add different things that does documentation. Because you already have access to the code, you can do whatever. Just decide, hey, I have this ticket, let's split it into 2 parts. And you already have the framework, because you did the framework in the first part. Now, what you're doing is you're just writing additional agents that will go step by step by step by step and just get things done. So, hopefully you end just writing specification. Everything else is done by agents, if your field allows it, of course. So, how do you get to the full autonomous pipeline? Well, first of all, plenty of us will not get there, at least not soon. Why? because of various compliance requirements, because of various laws, because of all of those things. You will still need the human in the loop. That said, all you need is a lot of agents and a lot of these things. Just chain them together, decide how they work together, and what happens if something fails. Checks and balances. Again, those things are not new. If you recall waterfall model, that's how you did things. You decided up front what will happen at this point, what will happen at that point. You had timelines for everything, and you merged them together into one product, hopefully within budget. But you will have a lot of these, and some more. Why? Because for every part you will need checks and balances, you will need an agent. You will, for example, if you do it manually, you can check, hey, did I answer all of the questions? For this, you will want agent or something. It could be deterministic because you are basically doing a JQL query to Jira that says, hey, for this ticket, are all of the subtasks set as done? Especially if those subtasks have a label, for example, Q, question. So, okay, you do all of this graph and everything else. You decide where exactly is the minimum where you need a human. And in the end, you get this. 3 agents verified by first doing manually. At that point, it took me 4 hours to find every location and do it manually and do the Jira and everything else. This, a minute or so, $6 for input tokens, $0.15 for output. That's, by the way, how was it called? That's basically I had the following agents. 1 generated questions, 2nd answered those questions. Oh, actually, I lied. Not 3, 4. 1 answered those questions, 3rd generated the solution architecture, that wall of text you saw earlier. And 4th one implemented it. It could implement it well because the solution architecture, that agent was written well. Again, what kind of agent I needed to use? Well, that was Composer too fast. So for those of you who work with those, that's one of the cheap agents. I did not need anyone else. I did not need GPT 5.5 or Opus, the latest version 7 something. And that was production ready. So what it did, it wrote tests, it removed the lambdas are no longer needed. By the way, there was no description about those lambdas that were missing in the original message. It removed the state machine, it updated tests, it updated the lambdas that were removed so they're not in Terraform and generated the request files for the unit tests, because that was actually missing originally. We did not see it because previously it did not use the GitHub workflows. That part was outside of the scope. Well, so, okay, this is basically the end result, that actually the runner, the machine itself. Again, do you care about it? I don't care. I needed to show it. The good thing is it's actually open source. So if you want to, you can check it out. It has agents, it has a machine itself. Play around all you want. So the most important part, at least probably the more interesting part, because everything else is just water. The part I showed about all of those agents, that part is important. Why? Because those agents need to be small enough so that they do not hallucinate. Because every hallucination it compounds. You get more issues and more issues, and it goes sideways far too soon. Another problem is LLMs. You may need to rewrite those agents. Not only when you want to get another version of LLM like Opus 4.6 or Opus 4.7, but even within that, for example, about a year ago, we had this product that used 4.0 from GPT 4.0. And we wanted to update to a newer version from within that same LLM. Basically change the deployment date from May to November or something. And our agents broke. Why? Because when in that prompt engineering part, when you wrote, hey, give me those results back, it started looking for different things. For example, when we started to, hey, give us insights from these documents, it started giving up technical insights. Basically, hey, you have this table there that has 5 rows and 6 columns, instead of what was actually in that table. So these agents are very important. And since you have a lot of them, there will be, coordination issues. Who will own what agent? Who will override whom? My suggestion, decide on 2 things. First, agents that can control other agents, and a technical way how you can override part of an agent. So, for example, you have some kind of software engineer that is partially overwritten by front-end engineer or back-end engineer or Python or C++ or whoever engineer. Prompt injection, well, you all know that. Again, there are ways and ways how you can go through it that are far too detailed for this conversation. And the question about sponsors. How do you calibrate the trust so that you can actually get forward? Again, this is most likely not important for some of you. It depends on the roles that you are actually playing at the moment. So, okay, let's jump forward. The main questions, and I promise that basically this is the last slide that is important. The main question, engine versus agents. What works for us is you want to split them. The engine itself is as deterministic as possible because you don't want to pay the token costs, especially for things where you don't need to. You need to connect to Jira. There are ways through CLI that you can do it very, very well. You don't need to give your agent or skill or whatever just endpoints and environment variables and say, hey, okay, here are these values, decide it how to do it every way. Do it deterministic. Leave the part to agents only when you actually need that Gen AI part. Everything else is just wasting tokens, and token cost will go up. It's already going up. Second, how will it port between environments? It's one thing if you're running it locally on your own system. It's another thing if you want to involve it in CI/CD, where it could be running on Azure DevOps or GitHub Actions. So, well, we went with Java, but to each its own. Then, agnostic or Type 1 service. The previous lecturer, I'm assuming Cloud Code. That's my first idea, what I heard from here. Here, what I would suggest is, especially if you're doing it this way, when you actually have some kind of wrapper around it, allow it to use any agent you want. Because costs will change, agents will change, the company who is best at the moment will change. And in part of cases, you may have Olama or get access to Azure Foundry, AI Foundry. So in those cases, it's best if you can just, change it easily. Now, how will you switch between those LLM agents? Well, hard-coded most likely at first, but environment variables or things like that work best. One thing to know, you will want a way how to select different agents, different LLMs for different agents. Because there are parts where you will need more skill and parts where you will definitely need the minimal. Now, where will it run? The easiest part, again, local. But once you get happy with that, CI/CD. Again, I talked about it before, so it doesn't matter that much. And will it be fully automatic or human supervised? My suggestion, create for both. Just add a flag. That's it. As long as there is a way how to switch it off, so that it doesn't jump to the next part automatically, that you review the results, you will be good. So, any questions? Sure. Well, first, yeah.
Yes, I will just mention one example. So the clients sending in our Jira tasks, they're using AI. So we are using our AI to refine those tasks, and then we're sending it back to them, and they're using their AI to send back the report items back to us. So at some moment I realized that maybe we need some kind of, to reduce this time lag between us two. So to create a meeting and use AI both same time. So we are refining, and it took just 1 hour instead of 2 days, ping-ponging the items in Jira. So actually the question to you, are you still using meetings in EPAM, or is something that is already in the past?
So it will depend on your client. Part of the clients are going head first for AI native, part of them do not want to. So there is no clear answer there. It will depend. It's like a person with two wieners. When his dresser asks, do you put it to your left or to your right? All he can answer is yes. Okay.
Yeah, so you mentioned that use the cheapest model, right? Like Composer.
Well, it's not the cheapest model, but yes, it's one of the cheap ones.
Yeah, so you said if you make the system deterministic, then you can use the cheapest one. My question is, compared to investing in your own hardware and running one of those open source models, does it make sense to do it, or just you can use the cheapest ones in the cloud?
It makes sense, yes, for multiple reasons. First of all, you may have requirements that you cannot send anything to cloud. You can only keep things local. Then there are no other options, just anything that you have installed locally. Second, when you have, especially when you have it automated, then the speed will increase a lot. And the token usage will increase a lot as well. So even if it will save 2 hours of work and cost that much less than the other ways of doing it, the people in charge will still want it even cheaper. That's sadly life, no matter what we want it to be.
So in long run, investment in the hardware and running open source is much better than
it will depend. If you are using it for your own usage, then how much will that hardware cost? you know, if you're using like $10 worth of tokens, then that hardware will cost more. If you have requirements that you need to be just, you know, completely locked down, then yes, local hardware. But in other cases, the companies that you're working with, they already have very, very large cloud infrastructure. It's much, much easier for them and for their maintainers, developers who already know that cloud to work with that instead of switching or keeping hardware on location. It will depend. That's yes, it's far too easy an answer, but sadly it's so.
I need to push the CV out, and all of Māris, do you go to bars?
From time to time, yes.
Tonight is the night.
Well, okay.
And then he said, okay, so you can also join us, and then later in a bar ask all the questions. But right now we need to roll forward. First of all, because it's 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. and we promised everyone that they will go home. And so this is the magic red ball. You can pick where it flies, or it will pick for you. But then there's harm, and that's illegal. So be careful.
I will go with the first person who asked the question.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yay! Okay, and then it's your turn. You type in your name, then you have only 2 arrows.
Which ones?
Start with the name. Yes, and then these 2 arrows will show you what's what. You're doing pretty well. Have you been practicing? You just coach yourself, okay? And that was the warm-up and the second game. Can you do it? You missed yourself. Yes. Yes, catch the AI. That gives 6 points. Very good. You just hit a lady. Yes, you're doing well. Let's go faster. Whoa, you're a winner. You're a winner. I think you're a winner. Whoa. Nice. Congrats. Congrats. You're the winner. And then I almost forgot, of course, a very special gift for you as well. It has who doesn't like a water bottle, right? Another one. Thank you for coming. You're trying to leave something there? You lost something there? All good. All good. Yeah, perfect. Then, for you, I know what you've been waiting for. I could be a magician, right? So let's see. How do we go back to? I need to think what I was supposed to click. We go back to extend, and then here we get Canva. We allow Canva. We go to the next one. We did this. Whoa, this is. Everyone gets 2 games, okay? And this is a moment when let's test how bad that AI vibing is. Yeah, because no engineer. That's so sad. Okay, let's go with that. No engineer has been involved in creating this game. Okay, so let's see how fast you just crush it or whatever. I hear it works. And then,
Did you write code at mobile controls?
it should work. It should work. So everyone gets 2 games. Since every game is 45 seconds, then I know very well that you don't need more than 2 minutes. So I give you a minute and a half. Okay. It's not me, it's my phone who's gonna tell you when do you finish. And then mission this, mission that. One minute left. You can do it. You can do it. I don't know who's winning. I'm not looking at that screen. Last game. Why no one's screaming, it doesn't work? What's up? It works. This is a stress test for real. And it works. So is the vibe code game so bad? Apparently it works. Let's see, does the backend work? Can we get all the results together? So 10 seconds. 10 seconds, and I'm clicking the button log game. You know, it has admin interface. Come on. I asked AI to make an admin interface. So that works. This is 1 minute. Now let's move to, I'm locking down the game. And here's the big discovery. So here's the pedestals. How do you pronounce that in English? What? Podiums, yeah. And then we are very fair. We tell only who's the best on the screen, but then everyone gets the same gift. So let's start with 3rd place. Let's see who is that. There should be super cool sounds as well, so making that super loud. And it's Elvis with 23 points. You already know who won, yeah? I'm the only one who doesn't know, really, right? So let's see. What was that? If someone's playing right now with the phone, then stop doing that. Okay, one more time. It's still Elvis. And 2nd place, RS. Who is the RS? Congrats. Here's your gift with, if you did not notice, there's super small text saying DevOps and AI Latvia. And then the KG. KG, try to catch it. Yeah, I should also be a basketball player. I have a lot of talents, you know, if you did not know. So good job. And then back to a couple of very important things. One thing is, we are planning the next event in the middle of June, since we haven't perfectly set the date yet, and I'm looking kind of at Linda at the same time, it's okay. Then most probably, it's like 99%, the next event is going to be on the 15th of June, and it's going to be as good as this one, and every next event is even better. So that's one thing. It's Monday. It's weird, but why not? Kind of before the holidays. Let's try Monday. Then another thing, what we are working on. I'm sorry, this is not showing what it should show. Where's my Canva? Canva. Now, then another thing what we have started working on is the date is official, the conference is not official yet. Me and our community, together with a couple of other communities and parties, we are working on a conference. For now, we're sticking with the name AI Connect at the end of August. And we're definitely looking for more people who want to join in. So it's a 4 or 5 month commitment or so. Again, no one gets paid. Yeah, kind of remember that. So it's only for fun. And we're trying to connect different areas, different levels of kind of engineers with users, with also young people. So it's going to be big. It's going to be amazing. We're still kind of, there are 2 venues in mind, but those 2 are very real. Kind of, I'm very positive about this. It's happening. It's happening. But we definitely need more help. So if you're interested, contact anyone from our community. We'll involve you. The last moment when you make a decision is end of this week, is the very latest. You need a couple of days to make emotional decision. You don't need a lot of time. Emotional decisions happen now, right? Okay. Then another thing. This is half approved. I always ask, who knows what is Riga Tech Dinner? And today there's a lot of hands. Then I always ask, who's been there? And today we have quite a few hands. So those who have no idea what that is, then welcome. Where is I'm sorry, that's a mistake. There should be May 26th. It's pretty much set. It could be that the special guests till maybe there's a little bit different special guests, we'll see. But this is the current plan. And then marketing with AI. So those who are interested in marketing, those who know how AI can help marketing, those who want to market AI, it's for you. These 2, hopefully both of them. It sounds weird what I'm saying right now, I know. But it's going to be amazing. It's going to be lots of chatting, as it always goes nice with these events. It hasn't been announced yet. You can't find it on the internet. It doesn't exist yet. This code is to the Riga Tech Dinner WhatsApp group. That is the group where those are the first people who hear about the next event. No spamming, no ads, no nothing is allowed in this group. Even if you say hi, then people look at those messages like, what do you want? Yeah, that is a perfect silence group. Like all the chat groups we have these days, we allow the groups where nothing happens, right? Of course, everything what I say always should be taken as a little bit as a joke. So I hope you got it. If you can't find it, you will find it on LinkedIn. This code is not a secret. Okay, back to, thanks again to Arvato Systems. And then, again, thanks to EPAM. And see you around the corner in a bar. We need to leave these premises super fast. But then at the bar, we get a 50% discount for 3, it's not for 3 drinks, it's for 3 types of drinks. Of course, generated with AI, always hallucinating. That's not a hallucination. So yeah, see you around the corner. The password is DevOps. Stick with me and I'll show you, something like that. But we need to clean up here super fast. Feedback, please pull out your phone for the last time today. Send us your feedback, please, super important.